Hi everyone, in this video I'm gonna pit my top 3 Deathwish Garage drift cars against my top 3 Gravy Garage drift cars. So smooth. So first up is the Deathwish Garage S15 Spec R. Let's go. Brooklyn Park. This one is one of my favorites because the acceleration is really nice and the handling doesn't feel crazy. I am running 55 force feedback though. So I did have to reduce that quite a bit for the Fanatic Club Sport RS wheel, and I should also let you know that I am currently running the Fanatic CSL Direct Drive wheelbase system and the Club Sport RS wheel that I have running regular, basically 100% 1080 wheel rotation, and the wheelbase is 8 Newton meters. So in that setup, this is what I'm able to achieve at the moment, and I'm still obviously learning how to drift in Assetto Corsa. So this is kind of like a beginner's review slash reaction. Still learning how to work the cars through some of these bends here and understanding the physics and the mechanics in the game. Still very new to Assetto Corsa, but this has been a lot of fun, and these Deathwish Garage cars, not all of them are wonderful in my opinion, but this one definitely makes the top 3. So let me know what you think about this. And now let's go ahead and switch to Gravy Garage car. This is the Street Miata that is really awesome on the road. So let's go ahead and take it out. Now this one I'm running at 48 force feedback strength, so let's see. Oh my god, Gravy Garage is just so much better than Deathwish Garage on my setup, because I know some of these car packs are, you know, retrofitted or just fitted in general for particular wheel types and the generic wheel types. So sometimes when you get a unique wheel or something, you know, the settings are a little bit weird and the cars don't roll the way they want, you know, where you want them to roll. So in this case, for me in my setup, Gravy Garage is just number one. Just the way I drive and just the way the cars feel on my steering wheel setup, this is the one for me. This is a great car, feels really good, moves really good, transitions really good, and man, oh man, it feels so good to drive this thing, and I don't really have to do a whole lot of work to make this work. Still have to be careful, still have to obviously use some techniques and strategies. It's not like the car's on auto drive or anything like that. You're still driving it, but it's just a little bit more forgiving, a little bit more pleasurable, I would say, because of the way it handles, and just the slip mechanics and all that. The way the car is slipping feels so much nicer to me, feels so much more predictable and consistent. That's the key for me, consistency, because that's how you kind of learn how to drive a certain car, right? You learn how it behaves all the time, and the Gravy Garage cars are, to me, very consistent across the board, and they do differ from each other a little bit, but as far as learning how to drive them, once you run a couple of laps, they're very easy to kind of get used to, and I really appreciate that. So for me, this round definitely goes to Gravy Garage. This is awesome. For this car, I can feather in, I can, you know, tap a little bit like this here when I have to make an adjustment or something like that because I was coming in too hot. So this is a lot easier to do here than it was for the Deathwish Garage car for me. Once you start to decelerate in the Deathwish Garage cars, you know, you have to be a little bit more aggressive on the throttle to get back that lost power around certain transitions if you slow down too much. But in this case, for the Gravy Garage car packs, I don't feel that. I feel like I can get power whenever I want. Now we got the DWG 180SX GP Sports. All right, so this is the 180SX. 180SXs are some of the best drift cars in the game, so really excited to be driving this. All right, so this one is a really good one too. Like I said, one of my favorites. Also, this one feels a lot more raw, a lot more engaging. One of the things, or I guess the drawbacks of a Gravy Garage car pack, is that the cars, like I said, they're very consistent, and maybe some people might say they're too consistent, and then there's not a lot of difference between cars. Here you definitely feel the difference a little bit more, and there's a lot more nuance to certain cars here. And then when you're driving, like some of the mechanics are just way more engaging here, right? You got to be quicker with your hands, you got to make less mistakes, you got to be a little bit more alert. I think in terms of DWG cars, you know, I tend to make a few more mistakes here than I do with the Gravy Garage cars. These cars require more of my attention and more of my engagement. So talking and driving at the same time, for example, is a lot harder with these for me than it is for the Gravy Garage cars, because they're just a little bit easier, I feel like, to drive. And then the easiness comes from their handling and their smooth power delivery. Here though, you know, you gotta just be really cautious and careful. A small mistake, you know, can mess up your drift entirely. It's easier making mistakes and fixing them with the Gravy Garage cars than it is for the DWG cars. That's my experience. But yeah, I'm just feeling way more engaged and intense with this car than I was with than I do with any of my Gravy Garage cars. None of my Gravy Garage cars make me want to like sit up and be like, oh, whoa, hold on, let me you know, move my hands a little bit quicker, let me throttle more carefully or something like that. They are just more, I guess, natural. You know, this feels a little bit more like, oh, you better know what you're doing. But that's what makes this fun, right? So it's different. I like both the car packs for this reason. I have cars from both the car packs for this reason, because they do give a completely different feel, and that's what I kind of love about these mods. So since we just drifted the 180SX from the DWG car pack, it's only right that we picked the 180SX from the Gravy Garage car pack. And there's a couple of those. This one is the Street 180SX. I think this is the Missile. This is one of my favorites. All right, it's like right next to the Miata for me, that Miata Street. It's really good, this car. It's heavier than the Miata and feels a lot more controllable in that way. And it's actually more engaging than the Miata. The Miata was just like slipping and sliding easily, no problem. This comes closer to the 180SX feel of the DWG car pack, right? So they're very similar, but I like this better because the power delivery here is a little bit better in my opinion. And again, the cars just slide in a more predictable, smoother way than the DWG Garage cars for me. And because they're more controllable, like my entry into certain bends, my initiation just feels a lot more sturdy and smooth and controlled than what I was experiencing in the DWG car. Yeah, this is definitely my pick out of the two. It does feel heavier than the DWG car. And when I say heavier, in my case, it's like the force feedback, you know, creates this feeling of weightiness because of how fast the car responds, how tight the force feedback feels. Even though this is also, I think, at 4950, I have the force feedback set to. And for most of these cars in both of these packs, I have them anywhere between 45 and 55. There's like one car that might have 60 force feedback setting, but right now on most of these cars, these drift cars, I'm running them between 45 and 55, and that can be a big range, but typically I land on 50, right in the middle, and that's how I usually start. And if I need to tweak it a little bit more because my steering wheel is acting crazy or something like that, then I go up or down from there. So 50 seems to be the standard number for all of these for force feedback. All right, but I do like it. At 49 too, there's a lot of strength, a lot of force feedback strength. It's just, yeah, it's a lot. It doesn't feel like it's just a soft, like, luxury. Oh man, that rear. And like I said, I feel more of it here than I did with the same car in the DWG garage. But the DWG garage car was more engaging in certain ways. It just required a lot more maneuvering and stuff than this one. So that means to me that that experience was a little bit more engaging, but this one is a little bit more predictable and smooth and more, for me, more enjoyable. Even though I messed up, I think, more in this. Yeah, see, I'm stepping out again. I've had a couple of mistakes here, probably more than the mistakes I had in the DWG, but I still prefer this. Ooh, barely made out of there. Gotta get closer to the inside edge. I'm going way too far wide. Yeah, just hug it tight so the rear doesn't hit something else now. There you go. All right, so this is really, really cool. Yeah, but this thing right here, definitely one of my favorites. This is great. Feels like a tank, but feels great. So my final DWG car that I like is the DWG 240 Modify Wonder. You know, in a funny way, this one drives the most like a Gravy Garage car. This one is definitely one of my favorites. Probably my top one for the DWG car pack, but it is very smooth, very soft handling. It feels like it's just doing the work for you in a lot of cases, and very easy to control also. And I feel like I'm getting a lot more power here in second gear than some of the other DWG cars early on in the gear, right? When you first accelerate, it just feels really, really good. I could probably turn up the force feedback a little bit more to get a little bit more feel in the wheel, but I kind of enjoy sometimes just having a really soft, chill wheel, you know, nothing crazy. You don't have to wrestle with it. And this car really does it. The deceleration is a little too quick for me, but look at this, it's so smooth. With the DWG cars, I feel like you have to be a little bit better with steering. And with the Gravy Garage cars, the steering is a little bit, I think, for me anyways, easier. It's a little bit more predictable and consistent. So it's pretty cool that there are these differences. I really enjoy both, like I said, and you know, on a given day, each car brings something special and a unique experience, which is what it's all about. You don't want to have the same stale experience no matter which car you pick up. And for me, these two car packs kind of deliver on that. They deliver contrasting experiences, different experiences, and that's what's nice about it. You get to have a few different kinds of feels for unique cars, because I guess if people care that much about real life, that's what real life is all about, right? In real life, every car feels different, every setup feels different, and that's what they're trying to create in these simulations, and I think they do a pretty good job, so it's pretty fun. Let me know what you think about this, and we're gonna get into our final car from the Gravy Garage car pack. So here we go. This is the last car that we got. This is from Gravy Garage. This is the E36 Touring. It's a little station wagon looking car, but this is so nice, guys. It's so much fun. Let me go ahead and change the weather real quick, and then we'll take it out for a spin. The angles that this thing gets are amazing. Takes a little bit of getting used to because it's big. It's big and heavy. So, you know, you gotta make some tweaks to what you're doing, but really, really awesome, consistent. There you go. We got the uphill weird thing also conquered. Man, just one try and this thing just goes. You know, we started off a little bumpy on the grass a couple of times, but besides that, every single bend, every single corner, it just crushes easily. As long as you're doing some of the basics right, you're not going to be in trouble here. Very, very nice. And the speed control is really good. I haven't really needed to use e-brake at all. You know, the mistakes that I might make, I can usually fix with left foot braking that I just did. Right, so that's always pretty handy when cars can do that. And this is the first initial bend that I kind of messed up because I was grasping the front wheels, but this one was a little bit cleaner. All right, some of these are just a little bit tricky, you know, but this car is super awesome. The force feedback feels really good. Feels like definitely a proper street car, and it's really, really good. It sounds really good too. I think it looks pretty good. They did a good job with styling. There's a lot of options for this one. You can have a lot of different colors on this, a lot of different liveries on this. You can have a solid red if you wanted to. So it's got some cool options, but I went with this just because we've had some plain cars in the video so far, and I thought, why not get some stickers on and have some fun with it to end the video. So there you go. That's all of them. My top 3 from each car pack. I got the DWGs and I got the Gravy Garage cars. I have so many more Gravy Garage cars that I like. I feel like every single one of them in the car pack I really like, but there's a couple that I like less, but I really do like all of them, and they work really good for drifting. So I'm just a big fan of the Gravy Garage, and DWG is a little bit more of a challenging set of cars for me, but like I said, different days, different feels, different cars, and that's what this is all about. And it's been a lot of fun playing around with both of these cars and learning Assetto Corsa drifting using both of these car packs. So that's been a super awesome experience. Totally recommend both of the car packs. Let me know what you think about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.